I'm Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Angela.
We are the Ink Mages. Join us as we discuss all things fantasy, world building, storycraft, myths and legends, and of course, our own imaginative stories. Welcome to the Ink Mages podcast. We are so excited that you have joined us today. We have a special guest who's going to be joining us in the studio. We have authorxzombie. She's going to be with us today. She is the author and illustrator of the Wizards of the Apocalypse series. Growing up in Washington State, she spent her free time voraciously reading, drawing, and playing piano. She began writing this first book in the series during her junior year of high school, which I think is so awesome. She likes visiting her friends, playing with her dog, Ramesses, great name, and listening to music and traveling. So let's welcome X-Zombie to the show.
Welcome. It's so good to have you on the Ink Mages, X-Zombie. This is going to be such a fun conversation.
No, I'm so excited.
And congratulations, because today your sequel, The Hidden Wizard, is out today.
Yes, I'm so happy it's out.
I have ordered my copy.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad. Thanks.
Yes, I loved your book so much. I got to read the advanced reader copy, so I feel so privileged that I got to have a sneak peek before it came out. So yeah, we were just so excited to talk all about your book. So to start off, we have a fun icebreaker question. So tell us a super fantasy nerd fact about yourself.
Fantasy nerd. Okay, dragons. I love dragons. I love my dragons. I think that's the main thing. I love dragons. I've watched movies, books, just TV shows about dragons, and I love dragons.
What was some of the first things that inspired your love for dragons?
Okay, so probably, oh my gosh. Okay, so I've always seen dragons like in just media and stuff, printed on things. And then I think I really started getting into them after reading Wings of Fire, which is Tui Sutherland's middle grade series. I think it's still ongoing, actually. So I have all the books.
Wow, that's a nerdy fact.
So I just love Wings of Fire. It's probably my favorite dragon thing, but of course I have things like shirts and stuff with dragons. I have dragon necklaces. I'm not wearing one right now, but
do dragons make an appearance in your Wizards of the Apocalypse series?
Oh yes, lots of times.
And where did the story come from? And of course, we know you're an illustrator too, and that's a huge part of your storytelling piece. So give us some information about that.
Okay, so I started watching a lot of, I do not recommend this to younger kids, but I did watch horror movies when I was younger, and I love zombies. I love zombies, like Resident Evil, Walking Dead. Of course, the classic Night of the Living Dead, George A. Romero, favorite. So, but I also love fantasy because, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings and all the like famous fantasy stuff. And I was like, what if we combine those things? Because I've never seen a zombie movie that had magic, and I've never seen a fantasy series. I mean, maybe Game of Thrones was kind of close with the White Walkers, but like truly calling them zombies, I don't think so. So I've never fully seen that in media or books, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to do that. It's time to do it.
You do it so well, because when I first started reading The Forgotten Prophecy, that's the first thing that jumped out to me was she's combining fantasy with zombies. I don't know how this works, but it does.
I just never seen those elements combined, and I was like, I would look for books with that, and I couldn't find any. It was either just with the mindless zombies, or it was like fantasy with elves and stuff, which, hey, I love elves, but it's like there's never combined, never together. And I was like, it's time for that to end.
Yeah.
So would you say that your story came from just inspiration from all of the things that you loved, and you decided, I'm just going to write a story? Or was there a moment where you thought this story kind of came to you and it kind of dropped into your lap and you were, I'm going to write this story?
I been wanting to write a story like that for a very long time. You know, just maybe not that exact plot, but I had stories that I'd written that involve zombies and them having their own little like races and stuff. But to fully make this story, I kind of went as I just kind of wrote. I'm a pantser, so I just kind of did it. The illustration came first. I was drawing just goofy little stories when I was way younger, just like animals or just cute little stories. And I'd write in the margins, like the little speech bubbles, what they'd say and all of that. And then I originally wanted to be a veterinarian, you know, taking care of animals and go into like completely into the medical field. But then in 4th grade, I found out I didn't like math homework. I couldn't do it. Math and like science were not my thing. I just couldn't, which is funny considering one of my best friends is totally into science. So after that, I read during the 4th grade the same year, I read Because of Winn-Dixie, which is a really cute story about this girl and this dog. And I was like, I want to write. Like, I love the story so much. I was just like, I want to write that. I want to write. I want to make a story that people can read and enjoy and maybe learn something from.
You have like an amazing array of characters in your story and creatures and races, which I find so fascinating. So you've got zombies and elves, shadow bloods, there's like demons, I think, and then you've got humans and like people who change into skeletons, I think. Like talk a little bit about how the skeleton aspect of like works, because I know that's something that Tristan, the main character, can do. So talk us through the process of creating these races.
Okay, so for the skeletons, that was actually one of the first ones, and I like the idea of being able to morph, because, you know, like I've seen that in movies and read that in books where shape-shifting, that's the word I'm looking for, shape-shifting. So that's kind of how I came up with him, just like kind of shape-shifting, except not really, because your skin's going away and then you're just bone.
Okay.
But what's funny is like he keeps his hair, his eyes, like the eyes don't just go into sockets. So I did keep a lot of the human like skin features that a skeleton wouldn't have. But so that's how I did that. And then with the zombies, I was just like, why does every movie the zombies don't talk? They're just kind of moseying along, not doing anything until there's someone to bite. And I was like, that doesn't add any character. So I was like, what would happen if the zombies started talking, like intelligent? They could wield weapons, do things just beyond biting. That'd make them so much more deadly.
Yes. And fascinating.
Yeah, so that's how I came up with my zombies. And then with the elves, I love elves. So I wanted to do something a little different, that they weren't just your generic forest elves, which, hey, I love forest elves, but I wanted to do, I'm a huge fan of just like nature, magic and stuff. So I wanted to have the elements. So I wanted fire, ice, and added the moon for the moon elves because I love the moon. I love astronomy. So I was like, keep them with nature, but add something that I at least haven't seen where you use lunar magic or like moon phases and stuff like that. So
Oh, wow. Okay, so if you're using moon phases, does certain times of the year, like when the moon is in a different phase, like it affects their magic? Is their magic stronger during a full moon? Okay.
So you'll actually find that in book 3.
Ooh.
I go way more into detail about, so at a new moon, the dragons are very weak. Like they don't even go out. And then when the moon is full, or even if it's a blue moon, which would be 2 moons, oh, they're powerful. And during an eclipse, they can turn invisible.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, this is so cool.
Because the moon like goes away, so technically the dragons can turn invisible. Like you can hear them, you can still feel them, but you can't see them.
Okay, is that also happening in book 3, or have we seen this yet? Okay,
in book 3.
Okay.
Don't worry, you haven't
Definitely.
missed any of the good, cool stuff.
Tell us a little bit more about Tristan. I mean, you have a couple main characters, but he seems to kind of be the one, kind of the shining star leading the way a little bit. Give us a little bit details about him, who he is, and why it is that you wrote him the way that you did.
So I first came up with him when I was 13. Yeah, 13. And I'm a very shy person. And I wanted to make a shy character because growing up, I was the shy one in the group. Very shy. I didn't like talking. I was super nervous in front of people. And I was like, I want to make a character like that because there are people out there that are very shy. And especially when you're a teenager and you're going through hormones and, of course, high school, fun, high school. A lot of you definitely, I was very shy in high school. So, and I was always feared what people thought. And I dwell way too much on what people thought of me and just the bullying I went through. And I wanted to make a character that was very kind of meek and very humble, but yet so shy. But I wanted to juxtapose that with giving him the highest position
in the land.
He's a king. I mean, I could have made him someone, lesser, but I wanted to juxtapose that. Give the shyest person the highest position. And I kind of just rolled with it.
So let's get back to like the zombies then, because you've mentioned, why you wanted to put zombies in your story. And I do love your take that it's not the typical just zombies craving, eating like man flesh and brains, which not to say that they don't, but like it's middle grade. So it comes off definitely just lighter. But your villains are definitely like dark and into dark magic. So that brings us to Marcus and like what his goal is for the zombies, because he wants to take it in a different direction. So just give us all the love about Marcus right now.
Okay, so originally he was not going to have a redemption arc. The very first draft, he was going to be evil. But then as I was writing him, I love redemption arcs in books. And of course, Zuko from Last Airbender is number one. I love him.
Yes.
So after watching that, I was like, no, I want to do a redemption arc. But I couldn't figure out who with. I was like, not Malice. She's evil. She's already done too much crazy stuff. Zokar's already done too much crazy stuff. But I was like, Marcus kind of didn't do he's done horrible things, but not in the same, like he doesn't have any magic. Let's start there. He has no magic. So he can't do these horrifying spells that can hurt people. So he doesn't have any magic. He's lesser there. And he's just kind of tired of he wants to be respected in the zombie kingdom because he wasn't respected as a child. So he's kind of got that abandonment feel. Like no one respects him. His family hates him. And you'll learn more about that in book 3 also. His family hates him. So he went into the zombie army, well, conscripted, so he had to. And he just started working his way up there. And he's like, oh my gosh, my soldiers respect me because I'm my prowess in battle with a bow. People care about me. But then he's going to eventually find out that that's not really respect. It's more like they fear him, kind of. And he's going to learn that he wants real respect, like for being what kind of person he is. So I think he's really grappling with his past as well as just how his upbringing was. I mean, he certainly did not have a good childhood. He was abandoned and all of that. So he's kind of doing evil things because that's all he's learned how to do. I'm not condoning it, but I mean, that's all he's learned how to do. And that's kind of the character I was going for. And he will be redeemed. He will meet up with Tristan and his friends, and then he'll find out what they're like and how that's so different to what it's like in Zombieshire, and how Malice and Zokar don't actually appreciate him. They're just kind of using him.
It's like a shift definitely happens. I think it's like at the end of book 1. And so in book 2, I don't want to give spoilers because you need to go read it. But there's definitely his trajectory changes in book 2, which is super fascinating arc because he started growing on me a lot in book 2 because I'm definitely a Team Tristan person. I love that like sweet cinnamon roll main character. So, Marcus, I'm like, yeah, I like his why. Like he is a definite strong why for why he wants to bring change to the zombies. So that's definitely a compelling arc. Yeah, it makes him very likable.
Oh, thank you. I'm definitely Team Tristan as well. I was just curious out of curiosity. I'm like, because I know a lot of people are Team Acheran too.
Yes.
I'm still Team Rowan, but I'm gonna read the Wraiths of Argent, and we're gonna find out if I change my mind.
Okay. I know. That's the fun poll is how do people change in the sequel for like your book, my book? Yes, our anti-heroes. We love them so much. Although we wouldn't necessarily do what they do.
I love how, because when you're reading, you're expecting the zombies to be what zombies typically are, which are these grueling, dragging their feet, moaning and groaning, and how isn't it have to do with malice as to why your zombies have this ability to kind of have a civilization and to talk and be able to be more animated than a typical zombie?
So that's kind of like her magic. So she gave them that ability. It'd be like in the movies where the dog gets the ability to talk, or the animals can, in a way, or they're more animated. Especially one of my favorite childhood movies, I think it was Cats and Dogs, and then there was Cats and Dogs: The Revenge of Kitty Galore. The animals were so animated, and I loved it. But they wouldn't talk around people. They wouldn't talk around people. They'd like hide the whole thing, that they could talk around people. And of course, Toy Story. The toys could talk, and they didn't talk around people. And I just love taking more inanimate things and making them talk. So, I mean, yes, zombies are technically moving more than a toy would, but of course, every movie I saw, they didn't talk. They just groaned, moaned, and shuffled until they either died or they found someone to eat. And I was like, I don't want to take that path. I want to give them characteristics, which is how I came up with the demi zombies, actually. So you're technically half human still, if that can make sense.
Now, did they become that because they got bit by the zombie and then they become half zombie then?
Yes. So there is a chance that when you get bitten, you can turn into a demi zombie. You can retain some of your humanity, but it's pretty rare.
So what's next for your series? So we hear now there's going to be a book 3. Is there more that we could be looking forward to in the future of the Wizards of the Apocalypse?
So there's going to be, I think, 5 books I can see right now. There could be more if more things pop up, but I'm foreseeing 5. And then after that, I'm going to do a companion series called Dragon Alchemist. That's what I'm calling it right now.
Oh, cool.
Love it.
And it is the steampunk series.
Yes.
And it takes place in the same world, but what's different is different cast, of course. And then after that, I'm actually going to do a prequel to Wizards of the Apocalypse. I think it'll be a duology, so there'll be 2 books. And it'll be how everything happened, how the apocalypse began, what it was like in the early days when society was kind of crumbling. And of course, when magic was legal.
Okay. Would there be any returning characters? Like, I don't know how old Malice is, but like, would she somehow be there in the prequels? Okay.
Yep, she'll be there. Blanchett will be there.
Oh, Blanchett, nice.
She'll be there. She'll be very young, and you'll actually meet her mom, who was
neat.
Former High Wizard. And let's see. I can't think of any other recurring characters right now, but I know those 2 because they're technically really old. But they use magic to look young.
Okay, so I'm like super excited for the steampunk story. I'm writing one too, and I know you and I've gone back and forth like we have to bring steampunk back.
I am so excited.
So with yours, you said it's going to take place like in the same world. Now, would it be happening during the apocalypse, or would this be like maybe after the apocalypse has been somehow resolved? Have you thought about that yet?
It'll be after. So a little after the apocalypse has been kind of resolved. I mean, there's still fear of zombies coming back, but it's going to be fixed in a way to where technology, they can start using steam again and they can advance in that way. So of course, Tristan and his cast will be there. They won't be the main, but they'll be mentioned, cameos, stuff like that. And they will definitely be more techy, more like with steam, like goggles and the vests and the whole cool leather corsets and all of that. I've actually drawn Tristan with goggles for book 2 because he wears them when he's flying.
Yes.
But I can't wait to get him all decked out in steampunk attire. He'll still have his crown and all the major things that make him him, but they'll be upgraded to being more steampunk. And you can tell that technology has been able to kind of come back.
Man, the illustrations are going to be fabulous. I just know it.
Thank you.
What is one piece of advice that you would give somebody who wants to write a book?
Okay. Just don't give up. I know that's kind of generic, but don't give up. And there are going to be people that try to tear you down, but it's easier said than done, but don't give in to that. Don't give in to that.
Love that. It's an encouragement we all need, not to give up. As daunting as the process can be and we feel like we get stuck, just don't give up.
Yep, don't.
So tell us where we can find out more information about you, your book series, and what your website is.
Okay, so all of the links are in my Instagram bio. I have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's my main. If you want to message me, I would definitely either email or DM me through Instagram. I also now have commissions. So if any of you out there want me to draw one of your characters, I will do it.
Yeah, and you do a fabulous job. I've had you do a character for me, for my steampunk story, Heart Myth, which I love. I love the character Erin that you drew.
Thank you.
Yes, and I've definitely had the opportunity. She has illustrated Merlin for me, which was such a blast. Let me just tell you, that was such a fun thing to be able to get to have one of my characters illustrated. So I definitely highly recommend going to authorxzombie's Instagram page, clicking on her link and taking advantage of that, especially if you're an author or writer and you just want to have a little glimpse into your own world and see one of your characters come to life. I think that was so fun for me. I got Merlin done and then I got to show my kids. And because he's more animated, he was more of a cartoon version, my kids just turned inside. They had so much fun with that. They're like, Mommy, you got to get this framed and put it up in our room. So it was a really fun experience. So definitely take advantage of what she is offering on her Instagram page. I cannot recommend it anymore. Pick up her books. Both book 1 and book 2 of The Wizards of the Apocalypse. It's such a fun read, and it's something that I cannot wait to hand my son to read. It's definitely, something he would love. The monsters and fantasy element plus dragons. I mean, a recipe for all great things, right?
Yes.
So we loved having you on our show today.
You did. It was so fun. We're so glad you were here with us.
Thank you so
on your
much.
launch day. Yes, on your launch day for book 2.
I know, that's kind of why I scheduled it, because I was like, I would love to chat with you guys on launch day.
Absolutely. We love that you chose us to get to do that with you today. So please do authorxzombie a favor. Pick up her books and leave her a review on Amazon. Go on Goodreads and give her a fantastic review and really support her all day today. Get on to her Instagram, share some of her posts, let everybody know that her book is out and available. All of her links are going to be in the description of this video. So please make sure you go there if you need to get connected and find out where all of these wonderful things are. We'll have that provided for you. And we'll also be displaying her illustrations during this interview. So you'll get to see a glimpse of what she did for us. So hopefully you'll have some fun and get some of your own characters done. Please subscribe, leave us a like, give us some comments. We've got some fabulous content coming out for you. this month of October, and
So
we cannot wait to hear
exciting.
from you. Yes.
I absolutely love
Spooky
this
month.
podcast. I will just watch. I love watching you guys just chat. I love it.
Aw,
Thank you so much. We love it.
you.
This is one of our favorite things doing our podcast and just being authors, is that we get to have the whole author community and support people that we love, like authorxzombie and her fabulous books. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next
Thank
time.
you.